How do everyone, and welcome back to Royville in 4Color. My name is Stefan, and I have talked about these comics in the past, but I think they need their own video. So, without further ado, I'm going to talk about Conan. So as you know, if you've seen some of my videos, I am a huge fan of Conan the Cimmerian, written originally by Robert E. Howard. When I was younger, I saw Conan the Barbarian, probably sooner than I should have, being an R-rated movie at the time. However, I loved it. And a place that my parents took me to eat had old paperback novels, some of them being Conan, some of them being Ian Fleming's James Bond. I picked them up. They were only a dime at the time. Yeah, now I went to like a shop, saw one, it's like $50. I guess with the times. Nobody at the time probably wanted them. Now they're collector's items. However, that started my lifelong love of Robert E. Howard's stories and Conan the Cimmerian himself. So, that being said, I have bought a lot of things that have the Cimmerian with them. I've bought old Savage Tales of Conan. I've bought the Marvel Comics version of Conan. I've bought all the 3 movies of Conan. I watched the TV show. It's not as bad as you think. But, you know, it was Xena, it was Hercules, it was Conan the Adventurer. So yeah, got a role-playing game with Conan the Barbarian on it. I learned how to use a sword because of Conan the Barbarian, because he's so awesome. And I kind of wanted to be a little awesome myself. That being said, currently, Conan the Cimmerian is getting a lot of love from Titan Books. They've restarted Savage Sword of Conan, and they have an ongoing Conan the Barbarian that is amazing. And if you're not getting these, I've said it before, what are you doing with your life? So I'm going to talk about 2 of them right now, of the Savage Swords. The first one is Savage Sword of Conan number 3. Now, all of these Savage Swords are small stories. They're at the very, not really anything more than a short story or a couple of short stories in the Savage Sword of Conan books. It's oversized, it's magazine style, it's all black and white, and it really lends to the grittiness of Robert E. Howard's character. Not only, though, are there comic versions of the character in here, there's poetry, there's short story, there's interview. Well, I'm not sure if there's so many interviews, but there is historical kind of articles about the Cimmerian in here. And not only just here, but the title in general, the Savage Sword of Conan. In this one, you see that he's up against a werewolf, and this is I'm into werewolves. I think they're a great horror creature. I'm very much into Conan the Cimmerian, and when, spoiler alert, he gets bit by one, he has to figure out how he can free himself from this curse, and it is great. The art is gritty, it's dark, it's black and white, it just lends itself to that. And here is a picture of some of that art, and I just love it. If you are even a little bit of a Conan the Cimmerian fan, if you're even a little bit of a sword and sorcery fan, you would do yourself an honor by picking up the Savage Sword of Conan. Every month, hopefully they continue doing it. It is great. The next one, the next Savage Sword of Conan, is a little bit different. This is Savage Sword of Conan number 4. And as I mentioned, I became a firm believer. I drank the Kool-Aid, shall we say, of Robert E. Howard when I was younger. Most of it, though, was just Conan the Cimmerian. However, I did read a little bit of Solomon Kane, the Puritan. I really loved that character a lot, and some of the other ones. Most of them, however, were when I got older. I'm looking over here to my collected editions. There's Brack MacMorn. There is Kull, the Atlantean, the king of Atlantis, and Atlantis, not Atlantist, Atlantis, and a few others. Let me see if I can remember some of them. There's Black Agnes, who is a French swordswoman in like the 15th century. There's Allison, can't remember his last name, or maybe that is his last name. To me, he kind of seemed like Robert E. Howard was kind of writing himself into the stories. There is Kirwin and Conrad, kind of Indiana Jones adventurer types. There's one called El Borak. I guess it means the swift in Arabic. I'm not exactly sure if that's true, but that's the character's name. And a few others, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but he had a host of characters, and every time I was able to devour one, I loved his writing and I loved his stories. So now what Titan is doing is they are creating... All right, I get it. Multiverses are all the rage right now with the MCU, kind of DC doing it, with the Edge of the Spider-Verse movies, with Miles Morales. Everything is in a multiverse now. So, that being said, Titan is using all of, or a lot of the characters for Robert E. Howard and creating kind of this multiversal story, or at least a story through time. Because if you didn't know, it can be said that all of, or argued that all of Robert E. Howard's characters are in the same world, just along a timeline. So, for example, Conan the Cimmerian is in the Hyborian Age, an age undreamed of. That's technically on Earth, kind of before recorded history. Then there was a cataclysm, and then kind of modern history happened with the Babylonians and the Cimmerians and on from there. But before that, there was this age undreamed of in which Conan the Cimmerian and all of those peoples and kingdoms were a thing. Before that even, there was Kull and the city of Atlantis, the kingdom of Atlantis. And then you go forward in time to the 15th century where you have Black Agnes, and even forward where you have the adventurers, Conrad and Kirwin. So they're all kind of in this, I guess it's not really a multiverse, it's kind of just a timeline. But what Titan is doing is they are creating a grand story with multiple of these characters. And this is the Battle of the Black Stone. All of these stories, each one features a different Robert E. Howard character. And I'll get to something at the end of the video. And so they're a lot of fun. They're written by a different person. The art's by a different person. One of them's kind of anime style, which I'm not really into, but however, all of them are pretty good. Some of them are exceptional. None of them are bad. And I strongly recommend that you get this if you are a Howard fan. Even if you're not a Conan the Cimmerian fan, all of the different characters, it's cool to see them, like, just to see them in a short story, kind of giving them a leg up nowadays, because we don't really hear about them really anymore. At least in the zeitgeist, they're kind of gone. I mean, you hear about Conan the Cimmerian, you hear about Solomon Kane, but other than that, not really much else, in my opinion. If I am wrong, then please put that down in the comments, because I would love to find those stories. All right, so there is that. This came out, and then this came out. And this is Conan, Battle of the Black Stone, #1. So this is kind of an anthology of some short stories that kind of introduce you to various characters of Robert E. Howard. And well, let's see if I don't want to hurt my book here. All right. And then this is I think it's a 4-issue miniseries, but this really starts the story. It starts with Conan. He has this, so the Black Stone is something that appears through all of the timeline. At the very least, this symbol. It kind of looks like a circle with a line, kind of maybe an eye. They call it the sigil, the symbol, the darkness. And we have Kira Wayne and Conrad investigating it. They go to this Gentleman's Adventurers Club and speak to El Borak. And then we see in the past something's going on with Black Agnes, and she kills someone in this anger, and thankfully she finds out it's a bandit. We have Conan on the search for this symbol, because he has like a necklace with that symbol of stone, this black stone on it, and he wants to find the symbol. It's giving him these crazy visions, this anger, and it just goes through a bunch of these different characters as we figure out that something is going on with this black stone. There's a few things that happen in the book that I don't want to spoil. Something happens to the writer, the Robert E. Howard kind of figure. But there's also a number of other, well, maybe not a number, but Solomon Kane makes an appearance. And I just want to show you this art, because this art, now granted, it is not Robert de la Torre, because he's the current artist on the regular Conan the Barbarian series, which I absolutely think is amazing, and everyone should be picking it up. Sadly, he's not on this book. However, Jonas Scarf, I think, is the name of the artist, and he is also doing a really good job finding that in my opinion, that Robert E. Howard feel, because all of these characters with that kind of pencily, kind of almost dirty, dark style fit extremely well, in my opinion. And this is written by the man, the myth, the legend, Jim Zub. Please continue writing. Not only, okay, so this is what I was going to get to. I think Jim Zub is doing a great job with Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Cimmerian, the character, the books, everything. I don't know if he's like the person that's kind of leading the charge here. However, he is doing a great job. If he is just the writer, which I don't think he is, or if he's kind of the line like creative, whatever you're doing, Jim, keep it up. I am loving it. Would love to meet you someday. Would love to interview you someday. I know that I'm not ever going to get that popular or cool or whatever, but you are amazing with Conan, and I would love to see what you can do with some of his other characters. I would love to have some of his other characters have their own books. I would be super excited to start reading a Black Agnes comic. I think she's a great character, the sword-wielding French adventurer swordswoman. I think that would be a great one. Kira Wayne and Conrad going on adventures in dark crypts and ancient temples. I think that'd be great. That would be such an amazing time, I think. And hopefully I'm putting a little bit into the zeitgeist of the world so that maybe someday we can see that. However, back to reality, back to what we're getting. These are great reads. If you like Conan the Cimmerian, if you like Robert E. Howard, I'm gonna be that guy. If you just like great storytelling, this is what you need to be picking up. All right. So, I just want to leave you with this. What is best in life? We all know what it is, because Conan taught it to us. It is to see your enemies. All right. Go ahead and put it in the comments. And thanks, everybody. Keep reading. All right. Fine. To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. That's what's best in life. See y'all later.